Ladies and gentlemen, family, welcome. This is episode. Oh, what are we?
We forgot. I
You know
think
what?
49. Are we 49?
No, this one is,
50?
I believe we're on 50. Hold on. I don't want to screw this up because
Well, welcome
I,
everybody while he's trying to figure out what episode we're
yeah. I believe it is 50. It doesn't really matter, but we're up there and I'm really
almost a full
excited.
year.
I'm always excited for the podcast, but yeah, I'm especially excited for this show because we got someone here who has built something that I think could really revolutionize how y'all are managing your properties, especially those like myself. My property's in Austin. My first property that I bought is in Austin, my only property right now, but it's in Austin, and something like this could be would definitely be a game changer for me. So I'm excited to talk about this with our guests. But before we do that, how are you doing, Pansy?
I'm good. How are you, Justin?
I'm good. It's been a week. And by the way, folks, we've got a potential commercial property that we're looking at right now. And that's just another thing. And again, it's just proof you keep going and you stick with it and be consistent. This stuff actually works, right?
Yeah, it doesn't happen overnight. Slow
Doesn't
and
happen
steady,
overnight.
right? Slow and
Yeah.
steady wins the race.
Slow and
It's
steady
taken
wins the race.
a long time for us to get this far. But that's okay. It was worth it, right? Because
Absolutely
this
worth
year
it.
we'll have some properties under our belt
Yep.
and
Yeah, I don't regret any of it. There's been plenty of like for example, I talk about this, but it took me a year to get my first deal. Real and we're talking about real estate in this context, but it took me a year to get my first deal. And that's because for the first year, obviously, I was absorbing a lot of content, a lot of knowledge that I didn't have, and meeting a lot of people, building my network, and just kind of taking it very slow, right? Meanwhile, there were people that started along with me around the same time, that got a deal within a couple of months because they went head first and they just hammered it out and they got, a deal within a short period of time. You can do that too. But it does, that's the exception, I would say, not the rule. The rule is that it just like anything, success, the common denominator is persistence, consistency, dedication, right? And just not giving up. And you will be successful. And that's what we're experiencing as time goes on here. And the podcast is one example of that. We had not, but shoot, I had not planned to have a podcast. Let's just put it that way. I had no plan to have a podcast, and yet here we are.
but
So
you didn't know me before.
I didn't know Pansy before. Well, you know what? And Pansy asked me this question not that long ago, but like where do you think you'd be? What do you think you'd be focusing on if we hadn't met, right? And that's a really interesting question because I don't I don't know. I don't know. I probably wouldn't have this podcast in the form that it's in right now. Things that we've got going on, including the podcast, would not be in existence in the way it is right now. But again, to reiterate, it's just about consistency and continuing on and not giving up and not letting because look, we've had our share of hard days. We still have, family stuff happens, whatever. And you gotta get through it in whatever way it works best for you, For me, I spend a lot of time praying. Let's put it that way. I spend a lot of time praying. And you got to keep yourself grounded. That's the other thing too, you know, there's a lot of nonsense out there telling you, you only need 3 or 4 hours of sleep. You just got to keep grinding and grinding. It's like that doesn't work for everybody. And it's also, for the most part, not healthy. And eventually you hit a brick wall. And I know for me, like I need my sleep, right? I need to get, I know my body pretty well and I need to get my sleep. So trying to keep up with people like Pace Morby, who's getting up at 3 a.m. every day and only needs a few hours of sleep. That's great if that works for him. If that's the way his body works and that's the way it works for him, cool. But I'm not gonna try and keep up with that because it would just, I'd hit a brick wall. So anyway, that's my little rant. but I'm excited to bring up Rand. So our guest today is Rand Friedman, the CEO of My Remotely. How you doing, Rand?
Very good, very
Hey,
good. Very excited to be on your podcast, guys.
You know
excited
what?
to have you.
I'm excited to have you. Rand, is there any way, because you got a lot of headroom on your camera, is there any way you could bring it down a little bit? There you go. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
come up a little bit. No, that's perfect. That's perfect. Thank you, man. Yeah, no, we're excited to have you. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. And by the way, this is open forum. It's a conversation. It doesn't have to be formal. I've got plenty of questions for you, but it's just a conversation. So welcome to
Sure.
the show.
Thank you.
So before we get started, for folks who don't know you, don't know about about you or about my remotely, let's start with you personally. Like, where do you hail from? How did you get started in all of this? Give us a little rundown.
Sure. So I'm originally from Ukraine, and I fall in love with hospitality and property management when I was living in Thailand,
Oh,
Chiang
wow.
Mai, Thailand. Okay.
Nice.
So we're talking about 25 years ago, before
Yeah.
even Airbnb existed. I started my own bed and breakfast place.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we
Interesting.
had like a garden and we had a coffee shop and 5 rooms for rent. And because
Oh,
my background is IT, I'm a computer guy,
yeah.
I created a website, I speak several languages, and we were hosting people around the world, like who came tourists to Thailand and they stay with us. And we're
Very
talking about
cool.
way before Airbnb existed.
That's
Nice.
really interesting. And you're from Ukraine now. Now, where was the bed and breakfast? Was this in Ukraine or?
In Thailand,
Oh, it was
Chiang
in
Mai,
Thai. I'm sorry,
Thailand.
it was in Thailand. So, talk to me a little bit about that. What's that like investing in a foreign country like that and kind of jumping into something like that?
Yeah, so I had a local partner,
Okay.
a Thai
Yeah.
partner, and because my background, IT background, and I speak the languages, business community connected us, and they said,
Nice.
"Look, you're gonna be a great match." Like Ron speaks several languages.
Yeah.
He travels the world, and now he resides in Chiang Mai. So I think you will be a good business partner. So we got connected through the business community.
Wow, that's really cool. And so again, it's just another example. You can't do it alone, right? You can't do this business
Exactly.
alone. Yeah, no, that's really, really cool. I've always been, just really quick, I've always been secretly looking in other countries for properties and for, land and things like that, and just seeing what pops up. And one of my dreams is to own something in France or in Italy or even in Greece. I would love to own property in Greece, but anyway, so that's a whole nother topic. So talk to us a little bit. So you're running a bed and breakfast in Taiwan. What happened? Obviously, how did that go? And did that carried into the next phase? Obviously, you started
Yeah, so
buying more
in
property.
Thailand, it was very successful, and that's where I fall in love with hospitality.
Right.
And then I live there myself, and then I wanted to build a family, and I moved to Israel. I found my wife in Israel, and we
Nice.
moved to China. We used to live 8 years in China,
Oh,
and
wow.
in China, I started the property management, so I saw potential. A lot of foreigners were arriving to China and
Yeah.
they needed a service apartment, like not 1 year, 3 months, 6 months. So what I was doing is basically renting 1 year, making agreement with Chinese landlords and
Yeah.
subleasing it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting.
So
And
that's what I did in China. And then 10 years ago, we moved from China back to US. And I always wanted to be like in real estate in US. So
yeah.
we started with my wife. We bought one apartment and then another, and we bought in another state. So we have now in 3 states, in Michigan City, Indiana, south side and north side of Illinois, and Wisconsin,
Oh, wow.
Milwaukee. And then one after another. And then I saw once our portfolio is growing, we need a management company.
Yeah.
And I'm very detailed. I'm like military guy. I want everything straight, like very specific the way. So I told my wife, like I interviewed several property management company. They didn't check all the boxes. So I
Right.
told my wife, we're gonna start our own property management company.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
the way to do it. That's the way to do it for sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I love
that's
it.
how, yeah. So we started the property management company, and
I
then
like that because then your company is based on what you wanted from a company, right? So
exactly.
that's good because you want to give good service, right? Like, so I like that.
Yeah, and so once we started the property management company, I said, look, I need to build the software that will solve a vacancy rate. So for each landlord, each day property empty, you're losing money.
Yeah.
Right.
So I develop a software my remotely where it allows to rent property much quicker. So my steps are from landlord, open a property management, then build my own software to reduce vacancy rate.
So I want to touch a little bit on that, like because I'm very similar in that like I need things to be very kind of a certain way, right? I need for me one of well, I'm gonna say something that's held me back in some ways and helped me in other ways is the fact that I really need to understand something and I'm very regimented in the way I learn something and absorb a new subject. But especially with real estate investing, I want to understand that all the pieces are in place. You know what I mean? Before I jump in, especially with something
The
like property
proper
management.
systems and processes.
Yeah. Well, because I did the same thing with my property. I was very strange about who I looked for property management. I got to tell you, I didn't find anybody. I didn't find anybody that hit all of my boxes. So I managed that property. So I had to learn all of the processes and systems to manage that property. But once I got it all set up, it's been very it's been very
Smooth.
smooth. Luckily, right? It's been very smooth. But yeah, it's so talk to me a little bit about what, when you're talking about property management. What are some of the things that you look for? And we don't need to go super deep into this, but I'm curious, like what it is that you look for specifically with property management.
First, I would start with the properties that we are buying with my wife, like
Hmm.
what our strategies are. So, with my wife, we're buying properties near major hospitals
Mm,
and big universities
yeah.
because it's stable jobs, and we love brick buildings. Like not frame, we love bricks
Brick building. Yeah, yeah,
because it's
sure.
already 100
Sure.
years. It's gonna last another 100 years.
Right. That's a good point. That's a good
Yeah.
point.
So
Okay.
our strategy, I would start with the strategy of buying. So our strategy is to buy near hospitals at the universities because of the stable jobs. Plus, we do a lot of mid-term rental, meaning because it's near the hospital, we furnish. My wife love design. She furnished the property. So, for example, if a regular 1 year rent it's 1,500, just an example
Hmm.
by furnishing it, we can rent it 2,500 for 6 months. Just an example.
Nice. Nice.
And
Yeah, yeah.
between those contracts, 3 months to 6 months, we fill it with a smaller gap by Airbnb. Like
Okay.
so we don't lose those gaps.
Yeah, right. That's right. So it's like during the lower vacancy or the higher vacancy times, you're filling those vacancies with short term rental,
Exactly.
right? Got it. Got
Exactly.
it. Now,
And again, how I developed and started my remotely is I realized quickly because we have properties in 3 states, I cannot drive just for showing in three
right.
states. I cannot be everywhere in the same day in 3 different states. And
Yep.
that's how I quickly realized I need to do stuff remotely. And
Yep.
that's right away in US from the first property we bought, we started digital.
Yeah.
Like digital locks, digital security cameras, because
Smart.
I realize I cannot be and I need to do showing all the time.
Yep.
And I cannot be in Michigan City, Indiana, and at the same time in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And so obviously my remotely the software we're going to discuss here, the program we're going to discuss here was built from a real need that you had to manage those properties. So now you were managing all these properties yourself when you first got started, or did you actually hire property management companies for a lot of these?
No, I started with my wife. Now my older
And you
daughter
create,
is helping me, and we
yeah.
have 5 managers now on
Okay.
payroll.
Got it. Got it. And obviously you created your own management company, but you guys like in the beginning it was you and your wife, but now you've got a team of people.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah.
we started with one property, Airbnb. We were fixing stuff ourselves. I
Yeah.
was changing bed sheets, like cleaning apartment. Like we started from like zero.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. I love those stories though. Okay, so was there a specific, I mean, you mentioned it was just because you couldn't get around and show all of these properties. Like when you had a vacancy and you needed to fill these vacancies, you couldn't be in obviously in three different states at once to be showing these properties. Was that the specific challenge that you faced that caused you to build My Remotely? Was it specifically getting these properties filled up, getting people into these properties and the the need to have to go to all of these different properties, these different states? Was that sort of the main
Exactly.
challenge?
So it was two challenges. First, it's to be in the same place at once, and
Right.
second is I had a goal to reduce a vacancy rate. Like
Yeah,
like
sure,
what we
sure,
discussed. Every day, property is empty. We're losing money.
sure. Yep. You got to get people in. You got to get butts in beds, is like we like to say. You got to butts in beds.
Exactly.
Um, so what did you maybe you can ask it like this. What did you was originally the original conception for My Remotely? Like what did that look like? Was it just a program to help you show properties, or was it the visualization of My Remotely sort of how it is right now, how it exists right now? Was that the original vision of it, or
No, now it's more advanced, but we
yeah,
started with digital locks only.
yeah.
Like for people, we were able, but we did it manually. Like person comes in, tours the properties, and we manually before. Now everything automated. We needed to delete the code, and then before the new person come, we need to create the code. Now
Oh,
everything is
interesting.
automated. There's no
Nice.
manual work anymore.
That's so cool. Yeah,
I'm gonna
that
get
what
that for my house.
I know. I know. I was actually I'm gonna trust me, I'm gonna hit you up for my property because one of my biggest challenges when I first took the property was getting people there, getting it rented. I'm fortunate I have boots on the ground out there that could help me show the property and help, get the property cleaned up for showings and all of that. So I was fortunate in that, but that person is not always going to be around necessarily. And, it's expensive. Like I'm paying them a decent amount of money to go do that and spend their time showing the property, right? So if there's something that I can use that would save me that, and also it's not even just about that. There's the security aspect of it too, right?
Of course, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
we
which I
know
really
where the
like.
person, like within a minute, we get all the background check of the person. So the
Right,
random person cannot come into the property.
right, right, which is amazing also. So that's really interesting. So let's talk about this really quick. So as a new My Remotely, and by the way, myremotely.ai, right,
Yes.
is the URL.
Yes.
And it's billed as a remote management, or how would you explain
It's
it?
a leasing, automated leasing manager. Let's put it this way.
Automated leasing
So,
manager, and obviously it takes care of the security side of things too. So as an can you what role exactly does AI play in this process for you guys?
yeah. So starting with verification process, but the most important is answering all the leads, phone calls.
Oh,
Like it
interesting.
takes a lot of time, and we
Yeah,
automated it.
yeah.
So like from the point where person clicks schedule tour or ask question to the point where they signing a lease.
Wow. And that's done through, and now AI handles
Through
that
AI
communication.
agents, yeah. Yep.
Wow, that's
So I
really
have a
And
interesting.
that
question, Rand. So how easy is it to set up and then remove? Like, so is this ideal for, say, like an agent to use on the houses they're selling? Or is it more like of a more permanent type of thing? Like you don't want to put it up temporary.
Yeah, so what we using now digital logs, but what I'm manufacturing now and will be testing next month is API a log box. So
Oh,
the
wow.
idea is if you have a luxury door or for any reason you don't want to change the log, you just hang this API log box and it does exactly the same as a digital log. So
I
you
like
don't
that.
need to install
Yeah.
digital log. All the automation work with the log box. And the
Yeah.
idea is like and again, it's through AI, is you finish the showing, you put the key back to the lockbox, it's automatically deletes the code, and it creates a new one for the new showings. And
Nice.
I even thinking and now I'm testing GPS small device that we put in on a keychain. So if someone
Oh,
forget or took the key, hey, you living within 200 feet the
yeah, yeah,
property.
yeah. You left the that's smart.
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
Smart. So in other words, you left the key on the kitchen table. You need to go back in and grab it and put it in the lockbox.
Exactly,
Right? I
exactly.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's really cool.
Guys, I'm crazy about details. I love
Yeah, yeah.
details.
Yeah,
I can
I like
tell. I
it.
can tell. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm very much that way as well for with a
I'm
lot of
very
things.
detail oriented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pansy's probably more detail oriented than I am with certain things as well. So, but so would you say like if you had to describe your ideal customer, who would that be?
Ideal customer is property managers
Mhm.
and landlords.
Property
So
managers
the
and landlords.
idea
Yeah.
again, we're gonna have in Amazon or website like this box,
Hmm.
and people can order it and be their own like property manager or their own landlords that can do everything remotely.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's amazing.
I love it.
What's been some of the challenges you guys have faced in developing this product so far? Like what maybe if you could think of some of the biggest challenges you guys have faced with putting out this software and testing it and getting it ready for the market. These are my favorite kind of questions to ask for stuff like this.
We tested and before we had the problem with the temperature in Chicago.
Oh, interesting.
You know,
Okay.
like that, and we changed it and we tested in a laboratory, and now it's working because recently it was very cold. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
it couldn't handle like really cold weathers,
right.
digital locks.
Yeah,
Yeah. That makes sense though. It makes
Yeah,
it
sense.
does. Yeah.
Electronics tend to go wonky when it's too cold or too hot. So
yeah, but that's why also that my idea and what I created is a lockbox because like technology fails sometimes. Like
Yeah.
so we still and even now when we started for each digital lock we had a lockbox with a physical key. So even the technologies failed, the digital lock have a space to put inside the physical key and open the door.
nice. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
So, yeah, you know what? What have you seen like in the rise of because we've seen the rise of remote work, remote, property management, all of this has been on the rise. Are you seeing any unique or new behaviors from or pain points that are coming up in the as time goes on with my remotely? Are you seeing anything unique that you could think of or like
Uh,
challenges potentially?
Challenges, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to keep up with the orders, I hope.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I'm just thinking, and the reason I ask that is because, everybody kind of has their own version of remotely managing remote work. Like, we've all got our own routines and all of that. And maybe the one thing that comes to mind is like people who are not very tech savvy, for example,
Uh-huh.
adopting the program and trying to get it deployed. What would that look like for someone like a Pansy who's like, look, I don't want to learn or know all the tech. I just want to get it deployed. Like, what does that look like for those
I think
customers?
in this case, the easiest way will be to get instead of digital lock, then you don't need even to install, is a lock box that
Yeah,
works with our technology as well. The only thing you need is just to hang it near the property, and
yeah.
that's it. You don't need anything. Everything else we take care of.
Oh, interesting. So when we sign up with you, let's just say we've got, our first or second property, and we sign up with you, you have a team that gets deployed
Of
that
course,
puts
yeah, we have a
everything up.
support.
Yeah,
So we list your place, we get all the leads, we answer them, we do
yeah,
pretty much everything. Yeah.
yeah. Interesting. That's really, really cool. Um, so how do you guys how do you guys approach building trust with the users in the industry? It still heavily relies, like a lot of people still heavily rely on physical presence and like in-person relationships. You got tenants that, because again, tenants don't want to feel like they're just a number. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
They want to be able to trust the people that and be like, for example, if something breaks down, they want to know that they're taken care of, right? So how does my remotely manage that?
I did the research for 10 years that I'm doing for my properties.
Mhm.
We did the research for 10 years. Every self-showing we did, they automatically let a feedback, like email and text message or feedback. 95% people love the idea of self-showing, that nobody breathing on their neck, nobody tells them where to look or what to do. Is
Interesting.
but in the same time, after the showing, they have option to connect to a live person and ask any questions. And before even the showing, the agent, or in my case, landlord, comes in, record a detailed video, post it on YouTube, so they know pretty much before even they going to the property. They see all the pictures, all the videos, 3D tours, and they already feel comfortable. They already know, oh, I need to come here and press this button to open the door.
Right. And go
Way
walk the
in
property. Yeah.
advance they come to the property, they already know everything. But the self-showing, by going by themselves, they love this idea.
Oh, interesting. I would have expected it to be maybe now I can understand that for a lot of people. It's just like I don't want to deal with anybody. I just want to go see what the property looks like and not have to deal with someone like talking to me and showing me around the place. Like I can easily walk around a place myself and go look at it. So I would imagine that's you got pretty good adoption with that. Do you ever get any pushback from people at all? Like, hey, is there someone like that's gonna meet me here or talk to me? Do you ever get any of that?
They know that it's self-showing.
They
but
do
but
off the top. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
for
yeah.
example, for some clients, landlords, if it's association, if it's like a big building and it's association, obviously we cannot change a building door. So in this case, we still use our technology, but we use open house. So for example, on weekends from 12 to
Oh, open
4,
up.
we have
Yeah.
an open house. But
Got
still, people again use the verification. Everything is the same. It's just they come and they see a live person. Someone will be waiting for them there.
Interesting. I like that. That's pretty cool.
So landlords and investor, they have options. They say, "Hey,
Yeah,
Ron, you know what? I love the technology, everything. Let's keep it, but I want someone physically to be there and do." That's we create the open houses,
that's
and
really
it's
cool.
it's going very successful. Like a lot of people come in the same time, and that way you don't need to pay every time an agent to go and show it.
Right, 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 right. That's huge. That's definitely huge. And especially and now that frees up agents to be showing a bunch of properties, right? Essentially.
Exactly. Yeah. But
So
but but I think the guys, and that's why I started it. The future is in the self showings. It's gonna be more and more popular, and it's just the future.
yeah, I agree. I agree. I think it definitely is going that way for sure. There's the occasional, there's still some of us who are kind of old school who like, having someone there to meet them, right? And have a discussion, but it's all right. Yeah, I definitely see it going that way for definitely. What
And
would you
we
say?
discussing, yeah,
Okay.
just to on this point, we're
Yeah.
discussing now with UK company. 80% of their rental is remotely. People don't even come to see they sign a remotely lease without
Wow.
seeing the place.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I already see it like it's happening.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, that makes sense. People are very private nowadays, especially, and it just speeds the whole process up. So it makes sense. It's just more streamlined. What would you say, like, this is something I like talking to people who have a lot of experience with property management, especially remote property management. But what would you say is like a common misconception or myth that people have about remote management that you're constantly debunking? You're constantly telling people, no, that's not actually how it is. Like, do you ever hear a common misconceptions that people have about the process about property management, especially remote property management?
Some of the landlords, and I make it very clear to them, they think that, like they give this to property manager and they forget about it. Like I tell them, guys, look, it's still your business. It's your like
Yeah,
you need to make a
yeah,
decision. So, for example, for us, any repairs that more than $300, we need to get approval from the landlord. We
yeah,
don't want to take this responsibility.
yeah,
So you cannot 100% do and say, hey, you know what? I just don't care. Like, here's my property. I just want money. Like you still
yeah,
need to be involved at
yeah,
some point.
yeah. And I'll be honest, the way it's marketed, especially, if you go online, you go on YouTube and you watch a lot of these gurus and people talking about, own real estate, get passive cash flow, it's, passive invest. I would say real estate ownership and management is one of the least passive things you could probably do.
Yeah.
It can be passive, it can be semi-passive, but that was one of my biggest misconceptions going in is like, oh, I can just buy a property and hire a management company and then you don't even have to think about it. And while that's true, for maybe for a good portion of the year, stuff's going to come up and you're going to have to get involved, right? So
It's your business. At the end of the day, you
it's your
need to make
business. Yeah.
decision.
Yeah. That, and again, for me, it was a rude awakening for me because I thought it was going to be a simple, there's in Austin, I don't even know how many property management companies I went through. I talked to a lot of them. And one was either they wanted they were all pretty much the same as far as percentage of what they wanted, but none of them really hit all the marks for me.
Uh-huh.
You want us to be there to show the place. That's an extra charge. You want us to, fix stuff that gets broken. That's an extra charge. It's just like, I know, uh, I have people in Austin that I can call and send to the property to fix stuff. I have maintenance guys. I have, friends there that will go walk the property and check it out if I need them to. It's like I thought to myself, why am I hiring these people? I haven't found anyone I like yet. Why don't I just manage it? And that was
Uh-huh.
the last thing I was expecting to hear myself say. Like I was really expecting to get a property management company and just kind of let it run itself. But I'm grateful I got the experience from it. But yeah, that misconception of like, oh, you're just gonna, buy a property and get a property management company, you don't have to think about it is not really how it works. So
But you, in the same time, you can take advantage of technology. So, for example,
you can,
for
yeah.
my remotely or remote showing is for our property management company, we don't charge finder fee. Like we don't charge a fee to find tenants because
Right,
we can afford it. We use technology. We don't
right.
need to walk and do the showings.
Yeah.
So right away we become more compatible, and people, landlords and investors want us to manage because they're saving tons of money.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a very good point. Well, so with my remotely, like, is there a balance? Do you guys find like a balance between like the AI and automation and actual having like a human touch involved with it? Like, what does that look like? Is there, for example, me as a customer, am I going to get put through a call service and never talk to a human being if something goes wrong?
We have 24/7 live five managers, including
Okay.
like we have like full-time accounting person. And to add to personality, so for example, for our property, and I encourage to do it for other landlords. For every Thanksgiving, my wife take days off and we drive through all three states, and like we deliver personally a gift box with fresh roasted coffee, tea, and warm handmade socks for winter.
Nice, nice. All right. I
Nice.
like that. I like
Yeah.
that.
That's one heck of a day.
That is one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually we do it in 2 days, and it's like our
That's still
travel.
a lot
Yeah.
to drive
Yeah.
all the way to Wisconsin and then all the way over to Indiana too,
Michigan City,
in
Indiana.
both
Yeah.
days. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
like it's like our tradition, guys. Like we look forward to it.
I
Like
love it. That's
and we
awesome.
and if you notice, like if you go Friedman Properties family, our slogan is good landlords, good tenants. So I
yeah.
believe if you a good landlord, you will
Yeah.
get the good
You're
tenants,
gonna get good tenants.
and they're gonna be
Absolutely.
good
Yeah,
to
Yeah.
for
you. Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely. I
Law
know
of
that's
attraction, right?
yeah.
Like
yeah,
you're a magnet, like you put out certain energy, you get certain energy back.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
I know that's the case with my tenant. I spent a good amount of time learning the software that I use and doing background checks and doing all that. And I found the tenant I currently have, and he's been amazing. I've had him over the last couple of years, and he's been absolutely amazing. Always on time, takes care of the place, and it was I was very upfront about like, look. I'm your landlord. Here's my phone number. If there's ever a problem, just call me. Obviously, if you can avoid it, don't call me at 2 in the morning. Please text me or something. But if you need anything, I'm here. And it's made for a good relationship. But obviously, as we scale up our properties, that's not going to be able to be done with every property,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
It's just not feasible, right?
Yeah.
Guys, what I would suggest and what we're doing is we have a YouTube video library for
Yeah.
any possible problem. How to shut,
Oh,
how to shut down the water in toilet if it's a leak.
Oh,
How to shut
interesting.
down under the sink. For example, if the battery in digital lock will have a lower percentage, we have a video how to change it, and we send them $25 Amazon gift card. We
nice.
like instead of sending handyman and pay $100,
Yeah.
we send a digital gift card.
Yeah,
Amazon,
no, that's
they
that's
love it.
smart.
They receive by Amazon those batteries, and they
Yeah.
change themselves. It takes 30 seconds to change
Yeah.
batteries.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's
I
smart. I
love.
love I love how you guys are figuring out like really unique ways of kind of streamlining the whole thing, right? And just making it very seamless. Sort of like Amazon. You just brought up Amazon. Like Amazon figured out how to make, online shopping as painless as possible. Like you guys are trying to do the same thing with property management, which I think is really cool. Um,
And it's very important to make a tenant feel that he's part of this property.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's not the owner, but he taking care of
It's
this
it's
property.
their property. Yeah, yeah, he still feels like he's part. It's part their property, right?
Yeah.
Like it.
And the future is, I believe, because the technology growing so fast,
Yeah,
for my remotely, the future also, and we started doing it, is building
yeah,
community of tenants,
yeah,
community of landlords and property manager, like,
yeah.
and encouraging tenants to take care of the property like it's their own
Right,
Yeah.
right.
with different bonus system, like, oh, you reported that it was a garbage outside of the building, or in a building there's a bulb burn out,
Yeah,
like you're getting so many points, and then after certain points you have a Starbucks card or Amazon card,
yeah,
like
yeah.
we building a community and a bonus system for tenants.
Right,
Yeah. So it
right.
lets them know, hey, I hear you, and you're helping me by looking out. So here's a gift, thank
Exactly, and
you.
I'm
Kind
taking
of,
care of
yeah,
you. Yeah.
yeah. I like
Yeah,
it.
I really like that. So as you guys scale, and are you thinking about different geographies or property types or anything like that? Like, are you guys basically just trying to cover the whole gambit, or is
Yeah,
there a
yeah. So
specific niche?
I think in the future we will have like a franchise, like people who wants to open in their state,
Yeah,
they will franchise our service, and as well as what we discussed, we will be shipping boxes. Like people can come and order from Amazon, eBay, or our website,
smart.
and can install either digital lock or a lock box.
Yeah, that's smart.
Nice. I
That's
like it.
smart.
I like
Yeah,
it.
and so looking ahead, like how do you think AI is going to continually change this business model? Like what do you think is do you foresee any major changes coming in the near future for AI with this company?
I think we're gonna have more and more day-to-day, like for example, like even repairs.
Mhm.
AI can analyze and keep track of repairs much better than a human now.
Oh yeah,
Like
easily.
you
Yeah,
can search the history, and you can even in the future it can, hey, like based on a history, I would recommend to check water heater or do cleaning of water heater. Like because AI works 24/7, it's
yeah.
keep track of all the history of repairs. And that's what we're building also is, I think, repairs history and management will be handled by AI as well.
Would that like require would that like require sensors and things like that deployed, like remote sensors on certain things, or is it just based on, like I know when the last service date was of your HVAC system. I know when the last service was of your plumbing or what have you, or do you foresee like sensors being deployed in
Yeah,
some way?
it will track. Yeah, AI will track the last visit of the technician and what
Mhm.
was the problem. Even for example, for now, for our property with my wife, we
Mhm.
use water sensor. We use temperature
Mhm.
sensor. So,
Right,
for
right, right.
example, sometimes we have not such nice tenants, not us, but they living without even telling us. And in Chicago, in the winter, if
Mhm.
you shut down electricity and gas, your pipe will freeze.
Right.
So
That's
by
true.
having those temperature sensor, we're getting notification, hey, the temperature is dropping. So
Yeah.
we can send right away the handyman and we find out, oh, they left without even saying that to us.
That's yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, so you can
And
prevent
AI is
by
literally tracking all of that right now.
exactly. So by
Yeah.
having this small sensor can save you thousands or ten thousands of dollars of damage.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, you know what? I know we're getting a little bit towards the end of the show here, and I'd really like to give you an opportunity. Is there a way for you to kind of give us a quick, like maybe share your screen and kind of show us what it looks like? Show us what my remotely looks like on
Sure,
a
I can, yeah, I can show you briefly,
I'd
but
love to
the
show our audience, kind of give them an idea of what the software looks like.
yeah, let me know, guys, if you see my
I
screen.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see your screen.
Okay, so we have units, which is a properties. We have all the inquiries that coming,
Mhm.
and we have devices which digital lock, but in the future we will have ring bell, cameras, sensors, and so on. Now we
Nice.
started with the locks,
Yeah.
and I want to show you how easy it is. Let me log in because I log out. And how easy it is to connect locks to the property.
Yeah.
So, for example, we have now this property to East Barker that we're renting, and we can put here to East Barker, and you see online. So what I need to do is, so for example, I'm gonna delete this. I That's how I connect. So this is a digital lock. Look what's happening. I'm dragging this digital lock to the property, and
Oh,
that's it. I
interesting.
connect it. So now that's it. Like people can do self-showing. I can see who came in, when they came in, like history. No, it's loading. Like what codes they use. Was it
Wow.
successful? Is it digital fob or they enter the code and so on?
Wow, that's crazy. So, okay, so the actual property, I'm gonna do a little bit of annotating here. So, just can you go back to that screen for me just for a second?
Yeah,
Because I
sure.
want to, I want to kind of. So, here's your actual property. This is your actual unit, the actual property, right?
Yeah,
On the left side. These are your actual devices. So, like locks, cameras, things like that, right?
yeah, yeah.
So, if you have a specific lock now are because when I think of a lock, this would be like a physical lock, right? A physical remote lock, or is
Yeah,
this?
it's a physical lock at the door, and again, you can see, create, delete,
Oh,
and
I
it's
see. Okay, so you're actually generating codes and whatnot
exactly,
from it. I
exactly,
got it. Got it.
and it's done automatically. Like
Yeah,
so. For
yeah.
example, what we created is someone comes to Zillow, they click schedule to request
Right,
tour.
right.
So now what we created, it's automatically redirect them. They scan their face recognition with their own phone, and within a minute we check, and it looks like this: a verification, like
Yeah,
we know everything, like
yeah.
check. And then once everything is verified, we grab last four digits of their phone number and we program to this digital lock.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah,
So immediately, so if I'm someone looking for a place to rent and that landlord happens to be using my remotely, I click on the schedule a tour and I'm immediately redirected to your page. You scan my face, you know who I am. You asked me
exactly.
to scan my license, right? Asked me to scan my driver's
Yeah,
license,
yeah,
and now you
yeah.
know everything about me. And then I can go in and view the property. Obviously, I want to be careful about sharing people's personal information on here, but um and then you can generate a code for that lockbox and send me out to the property to go view the property basically.
Exactly. And you have a video, like
And I have a
you
video
have
of
a
it, but yeah, that's amazing.
and we verify by GPS So for
Yeah.
example, against scammers, so you cannot be somewhere. Once you arrive to the property, you click start tour and we verify GPS. Are you really at the
Are
property?
you really there? Okay, nice. That's incredible. So now me as a customer, do I have a software interface that I'm using? Is that the same software interface that I would use, or is that's your back end management side of it, right?
My back, but you will have
Okay.
your own dashboard where you can see all the tours, all the inquiries, all
All
the
the information.
communication, and so on.
Nice. Nice.
So
Well,
you as a landlord, so for example, if you have a property management company, you hire us or any other property management, they will do everything for you, and but they can still give you access and see, like for you to see how many
right,
inquiries were, how many
right,
tours were, what the
right.
people are writing about, like
Yeah,
what are the feedbacks after the showing. Is
right.
property actually ready for rent? Maybe it's dirty. Maybe there
Yeah.
is garbage outside.
So that's really interesting. And now I want to make this clear. I want to clear this up even just for my own self. Is my remotely like in conjunction with regular property management, or are you guys taking over the whole process? Is it just for showings and for repairs and things like that, or are you guys trying to take over the whole
For now, it's just a leasing. It's helping to
leasing and
lease
right? Okay,
much quicker.
got it.
So
Yep,
we focus right now on the leasing because that's what I encounter a problem with a vacancy and
yeah,
having in different states property, and that's why I created the My Remotely.
yeah.
We created it
Obviously,
for ourselves, like
yeah,
it's just now we're taking it public, but we
yeah.
take it and we made it to make our life easier.
Well, I can tell you vacancy's a real expense and it can be a big expense.
Yeah,
Especially no, if you got a single family home, if someone's not there, you're 100% vacant. With multifamily, even with multifamily, that vacancy number, I mean, just to get financing to buy a multifamily property, you have to underwrite at least 10% vacancy,
yeah.
right? So that's a real expense, and if my remotely can help me shrink that number down as much as possible, then that's an easy ROI right there. Are
Exactly.
you?
And just statistically, based on a 200 property we manage, like we
Yeah,
own 20, now 21, we're closing also on another one. But
nice.
managing 200 more properties, statistically, you rent
Mhm.
much quicker because every half
Yeah,
an hour you can have a showing.
you can have a show. No, that's amazing. Do you guys plan to kind of get into the other parts of property management and help remotize that part of the property management, or is that
But not as for now, I want to focus on the leasing and make it perfect.
got it?
Then
Yep.
later we can add what we discussed, like repairs,
Yeah.
maybe payments, collecting
Yep.
payments, and so on. But
Yep.
for now, just focus on the
Just
leasing
focus
part.
on the leasing. Well, that's a big part of it. So, well, listen, Ran, we are getting towards the end. I really, really appreciate you coming on and spending some time with us and sharing my remotely. Um, I'm I'm gonna, I mean, even just for my property, I'm gonna look into it because I think that could help me. Now, I have a really good tenant in place. And it's gonna, for me, my remotely is gonna make more sense as we start building our portfolio and getting more and more properties. But I think that's you guys have built something pretty cool here, so I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. So for those who would like to get in touch with you or like to get a hold of you, how can people find you?
Yeah, I think we can put in description a link how to contact me, and
Sure,
if they're interested, schedule like a Zoom call with me so I can
sure.
show them.
Okay.
And I'm flying a lot also, so like I'm gonna be in Florida next month. I'm gonna be in New York. So even I'm a technology guy and I love technology, but when it comes to business, I'm old fashioned. I like to shake hands, I like
Yeah,
to look at the eyes, and
yeah,
so on.
yeah.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it.
That's
Yeah.
it, and you're not alone. That's still like there's no, I don't foresee it as everything goes remote. The one thing that's still going to remain true is in business and relationships, the hard currency is meeting people in person, right? And really getting to know people. So that's really cool. Well, we'll put the link for for people to schedule calls with you in the description. So for people watching this now or after the fact, it'll be in the YouTube video description, so you can go schedule a call with Rand and his team
And
if they're
it'll
interested.
eventually be in my blings card here.
Yeah, and it will eventually be in a playing card. Yeah,
Just
that's right.
scan the
And mine
code.
too, actually,
Yeah,
mine too.
scan the code.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and sign us off for today. This was episode 49, by the way. We're on
Oh,
episode
okay.
49 now. And we will be back next week for episode 50, which is a milestone for us. And thank you to everybody in our community who continues to support us, continues to watch. We're just doing bigger and better things, guys. So stick with us, and we will see you next time. Thanks, guys.
All right. Have a blessed weekend,
Appreciate
guys.
you.
You too,
Thank
Rand.
you.
Thank you. Appreciate
Take
you.
care. Bye.
See you guys.